Hello? Anyone over here? Fucking unbelievable. Alright. Hello? I'm just gonna wait if anybody can hear me, because fuck it, I don't even know if we're live like right now. Are we good now? It works, we're good. Oh my god, thank god. I was gonna be so furious. I was just gonna say, like, fuck it. But it seems like we're good right now. So, I apologize for everyone that had to go through that. It's just, fuck, man. This new streaming layout for YouTube is so utter shit. I tried to switch the resolution, so kindly adjust accordingly. If not, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm watching. Yeah, it looks fine. Gotta get this great riveting start of the newscast settled. So, you know. Well, anyways, I'm gonna ask one more time. Can you guys hear me? That's the important thing, especially after now. Just post it on the chat if you guys can hear me. Alright, everyone, I guess. Yeah, you guys are saying that you guys can hear me. Holy shit. It's been a shitty week today for wrestling. It's been a shitty week in general. So, I have some special guests I'm going to bring in, but I need to check if I can even do that in the first place. Because let's see here. Disconnect first. Wait, what? Where'd it go? Okay. No. Wait, what the hell is going on here? Alright, so I got some people from Discord. So we'll see first of all if you can hear them too. So if you guys can hear me, that's great. Appreciate that. We can get things started with the newscast. I appreciate that. Thank you guys very much for tolerating this fuckery that's been going on. Not just for the newscast, but all throughout this week. So let me go ahead and invite them real quick. Why do people keep making new shit? What's going on here? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright.
I think YouTube's being YouTube on you, if you don't mind me saying it.
No shit.
YouTube being the piece of shit that it's always been.
Yep.
God, if I didn't have to use this app, I wouldn't, but necessary. Well, first of all, let me see if chat. Go ahead and see if you can hear the guys on the Discord. Let me know before we go anything further.
Someone just typed tick as soon as they heard me.
And Jason?
Yeah.
Well, you guys have distinct, exquisite voices, you see, so.
No. You said it wrong. It's Jason.
Oh, no. We're not heavy raining this shit.
Is this a new meme that I'm not
Yeah, oh god, not heavy rain. Not heavy rain. By the way, I'm here too.
Alright, we got some folks here, so introduce yourselves, and I know more people are gonna jump in on the call as we continue this podcast, so introduce yourselves.
Should I go first, I guess?
Whoever.
Alright, one and only here around the Fur Truck Circle. Over to, I guess, Mr. Downtown. Go ahead, Jason.
I am Downtown Jason Brown. I am the man who's completely insane because I am doing call leagues in 2 different universes. We're going to create a call cinematic universe. It's going to be big. We're going to sell it to Disney.
Yeah, that's
Krishoni
also
Cup as well.
Krishoni Cup's airing next week as well.
Yeah, man, just an eventful couple of days and weeks for CAW. I'm sure a lot of you guys can use it right about now, so it's all the more fun for you guys to
We
enjoy
could
it.
use the break.
Also, I'm gonna just get this quickly out the way while I have the chance. Please ask before you hop on, please.
Yeah. Also, yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, we were invited. No disrespect. Come on, guys.
No disrespect, but we were invited by Hakeem.
So if you have the link, you can be invited. Just don't pass that around, because that would suck. But other than that, I mean, everyone's got their intro. And again, like I said, a lot of other people that were invited will jump on eventually when they please. So with that being said, April 15th, 2020 is going to be a day that lives in professional wrestling infamy, as far as I can tell you. Been one of the craziest weeks that I have ever witnessed as a professional wrestling fan. I'll tell you that so much right now. We will get into all the craziness that's been happening this week, quite frankly, this entire month. But before we do that, I mean, we have to address the unfortunate, sad news that transpired this morning. WWE Hall of Famer and legendary ring announcer Howard Finkel actually passed away this morning at 69 years old. I don't even need to go through the whole catalog and accomplishments that this man has created. He has been a voice of each and every single one of our generations. Whether you known him or not known him, or grown with him or not grown with him, you know the name, and more importantly, you know the voice. Now, granted, I was born in 1991, so I didn't really get to experience the golden era. When you heard his voice, he could make anything important. Whenever a wrestler came down to that aisle, whenever that wrestler came out of the entrance, that man made you believe that you're looking at a superstar. You're looking at one of the greatest superstars of all time. You can go from the likes from Al Snow all the way up to the top to Stone Cold Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan. But Howard Finkel passing away today, and just another piece of our nostalgia, another piece of our childhood going away as we continue to grow older. And gentlemen, if you guys have any thoughts, I'm sure you guys do. Go ahead and say them.
Yeah.
Literally one of the first voices of professional wrestling I remember as a kid.
As someone who grew up in a household full of wrestling fans, both my late father and my older brother, huge wrestling fans. So we always had those wrestling tapes in our house. So, and like Hakeem, I was born in 91 myself, but I got to really experience that because of a lot of the tapes my brother had. So I would hear, Howard Finkel and stuff like that. Howard Finkel, one of the, if not one of the best ring announcers. My 2 favorite ring announcers of all time are Howard Finkel and I cannot think of the top of my head. And he was in TNA.
Michael Penta.
Yeah. Oh my God, those 2 have the best ring announcing voices.
Those two, and Gary Michael Capetta, I think his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, those 3 are the ring announcers that I grew up with. And Tony Chimmel.
For me, with the Fink, because I'll be clear, I'm more of a late 90s kid, okay? Being born, while the Attitude Era was, while the New Generation Era was just ended and, the Attitude Era was just beginning. I mainly experienced, the Ruthless Aggression Era, which was, once the Fink had sadly, gone. And it's such, at the top, past the torch.
Yeah.
But some of the calls the Fink made, like, the man, something what people don't realize about the Fink. How him and Howard.
One of the last really big moments for Howard Finkel when I saw him was when he introduced CM Punk at Madison Square Garden for Survivor Series in 2011 when he faced Alberto Del Rio. Now,
I remember that.
Now, if you can ignore the bullshit from Cole and Lawler ruining that moment almost, you can just tell with Howard Finkel, the way he came in, he was adulated by the crowd, how important that moment was for him. and how he just soaked in that moment, and then he was able to introduce a caliber talent like CM Punk at the time. It just shows you how much he loved the business. It shows you how much he loved the talent that he announced for, and quite frankly, how much he loved us, the fans, entertaining us every time. It's been a wild couple of months, days, if not because of this whole thing. But you know, I hope people go back and watch Finkel's work, really listen and really focus on what he contributed to the WWF and other forms of entertainment, because he was really great at what he did. And you know, I'm gonna never forget those memories. Rest in peace, Mr. Finkel, the Fink. Appreciate all your contributions to this sport, and thank you for allowing us to be entertained by your presence every single time you were on television. So, yeah. I mean, you just wake up, the wrestling world reacting as I'm switching gears here, but you can just see it. John Layfield over here saying, the first great ring announcer is gone. R.I.P. WWE Hall of Famer Howard Finkel. Dave Meltzer tweeted earlier this morning, this horrible week continues. Howard Finkel's voice is the soundtrack of so many matches for decades. He never ever... It's sad. It's Howard Finkel, before we even moved on, because moving past that now. So, as people have saw the title, as people see on the thumbnail, Black Wednesday was the title of yesterday, April 15th, 2020, as a lot of things transpired. We'll walk you all through what really happened, but I just gotta tell you, a lot of people that have been affected by this need your support. If you're able to, and I know you guys are struggling as well, I know with this current climate that you guys are struggling, but if you're able to support a little bit of your time and money, please go ahead and buy any independent art or any independent merchandise from these guys, or those that are suffering even before this whole thing happened. It would be very helpful for them right now. But, so, April 15, 2020, WWE releasing talent and staff as a part of their cost-cutting measures to fit the pros. Heath Slater, Aiden English, Eric Young, EC Fimo, Epico, Rowan, Mike and Maria Kanellis, Zack Ryder, No Way Jose, Rusev, Deonna Purrazzo, and Alexander Jaksic. Lance Storm, Mike Rotunda IRS, Shane Hurricane Helms, Scott Armstrong, Pat Buck, Sarah Stock, Sean Devon, agents and talent. Key term here, losing money. The fact of the matter is that even if they didn't run house shows, even if they weren't selling merchandise, even though if they didn't have any network revenue, even if they weren't doing Saudi Arabia shows, they were still going to make a profit this quarter. By the way, the earnings report is next week, as a matter of fact. They were still in line to make money. So the fact that this company is cutting their employees just to simply fit the margin line to pre-coronavirus projections is scummy, it's shameful, and quite frankly, it's unbecoming. And I don't want to hear it from, because I had to hear it on Twitter. I'm sure I'm sure you guys had to hear the bullshit too on social media. But I don't want to hear it from people that will defend this man, because he doesn't want to understand that you're putting your own employees at risk every time you're doing weekly live television. You brought in No Way Jose to do a job on Raw, then you let him go 48 hours later. Can you tell me what the point of that was? Now you're texting people that they may or may not be welcome back into the company. You can't even tell them personally. You had No Way Jose over there. You had Sarah Logan there on Monday. You couldn't tell them, like, hey, this is probably going to be your last match. Yada, yada. You had to tell them after the fact. And look, and I'll let the boys talk about it too, but this pissed me off. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it, because, like, there's too many good talent. There's too many good prospects that got unceremoniously let go. And for all these bootlickers to come into social media and say, well, you know, Vince McMahon had to do what he had to do. I mean, it's a business. Can you mind telling those people that were relying on a month's worth of pay now to where now they have to find another source of income during this whole situation? Can you explain that to me? You know, it's funny. You know, Braun Strowman was talking all this shit last week about how people that are let go or were laid off, like myself and I'm sure others, that were laid off are lazy and didn't deserve their spot because they are begging, and yet his boys got released 24 hours ago. And he was dead-ass quiet. It's kind of funny that the new Universal Champion will speak when it's convenient for him, but when his two buddies get let go out of cost-cutting measures, being expendables, oh, now Braun is very quiet like a mouse. So fuck that dude. So I'll let you guys go off, but this is just another indictment on what this company is and how this company does not deserve any benefit anymore. If you're a WWE fan, fine, but then just say what it is and represent who you are by continuing to support this company that doesn't give a shit about you. You guys go ahead.
Who wants to go first?
Sorry.
I can go first.
Go on, Jason.
This whole situation, you know, and Hakeem, you put in this is going down. It's probably one of the more darker days in WWE history. The only thing that tops that is, you know, the whole week when the Benoit situation happened. And here's the thing, you know, with seeing a lot of these great talents and everything like that, and it frustrates you too, because you look at the list and you just see a lot of unused potential there, like a Rusev, like a EC3, like Spud. It not only is it sad, but it's also very, very frustrating because you're like, you could have done so much more with these guys and gals, and you just fucked it all away. Because here's the thing that I've said for a while, and why I really don't like, you know, the NXT system, because what it represents is WWE playing keep away from other promotions like AEW, like New Japan, you know, like Impact and stuff like that. They're hogging all this talent, and then by doing that, it has turned around and bit them in the ass, and they had to let all these people go. You know, and I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys and girls, they will get back on their feet. They will find, you know, there's places that, you know, that will take them. But at the same time, it's just like you fired them by texting them. You fired them by texting. You couldn't even. Oh, that one just. Oh my God, that just pisses me off. And I think the worst one that really got to me was Spud, because of his video response. Did you see? You saw that?
Oh yeah.
I think we all did.
That's a heartbreaker.
That one right there, not just a heartbreaker. That's a soul breaker right there. That just hurt you to the soul, because this guy worked so hard to finally get to a place to a place he dreamed about being, and that is the WWE. Since, you know, because it was his childhood. He finally gets this opportunity to be a part of this cruiserweight tournament, which the Lucha Party is. Were they part of it, or are they rumored?
No, they're not part of it.
No, they're not part of it, but they're probably going to get that.
I guarantee at least 90% of the cruiserweights are going to get axed. Like the Lucha House Party. Like, hell, I could even see the current NXT Cruiserweight Champion getting axed. I could see guys like Austin Theory getting axed. I could see
Austin Theory, I don't think is going to get axed.
Yeah.
He's in a push right now.
He's in the middle of a push
Here's the thing. You think, oh, they're getting pushed to protect their champions and all that. No one's excluded from this. No one. They could cut you just like that. It doesn't matter if you're a champion. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of a push. If Vince McMahon's like, you're liable. I don't care. You're out of here. Austin Theory, yeah, he may be getting a push, but is he truly really? Because he's just the third guy in this. Whatever the fuck they're making with over there on Raw.
I like to call it WWE's equivalent of LIJ.
Austin Theory, he's a low Carter. He may be getting the semi-push, but it doesn't mean he's excluded. Because they could fire any anybody at this given moment. They let go Kurt Angle and Mike fucking Chioda.
Yeah.
Mike Chioda's a shocker.
Mike Chioda, 31 plus years for this goddamn company. And they just throw him out on his ass. Kurt fucking Angle, yes, Kurt Angle, he's retired, he's this, he's that. He could still contribute to the business. You'd still, help get the next generation ready down there in NXT, or give some advice and stuff like that, being an ambassador. They let Kurt fucking Angle go. And they let guys you think were lifers go. So just because you're getting a push, just because you're a champion, doesn't mean you're excluded.
I will say though that unless you're like in maybe the top 5%, like so if you're like a Becky or a Charlotte or a Roman or Rollins, who we'll get to in a second here, but if you get to like those guys, right, they're likely safe. But anybody else really that's like even a tier below, they're expendable. They're at risk if Vince feels that they're too much worth it. If their money is too much to sustain them,
Don't be surprised if you see Owens and Sammy getting cut. I could seriously see them both getting cut.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know.
It's just, oh god, this is so frustrating.
I'll be honest. I feel like I'm preaching to the goddamn choir at this point. I mean, considering what everyone has pretty much set up until this point, but it is absolute bullshit that they. I'm going to say this right now. It's absolute bullshit that they let Rusev go, because once again, they let two guys go that got over on their own merits, and yet they did jack all with their fucking skyrocketed them based on their own merits, considering the fact that they were wanting to actually put their own fucking effort into it. Yet, what did they get? Zack Ryder gets fucking buried for years, and Rusev gets put into shitty angle after shitty angle after shitty fucking angle. Lana is still fucking employed, but they let Rusev go. Isn't that just the biggest kick in the dick to fucking angles, and yet you're expendable?
And here's the thing about Ryder. Ryder drugged the WWE into the 21st century. He did. This whole YouTube thing, with WWE, it's all thanks because of Zack fucking Ryder.
What happened if it weren't for Ryder? Let's call it straight. If it weren't for like hell, you saw the competition. You saw the Young Bucks and the Cody Rhodes and all them say. If it wasn't for Zack Ryder, there'd be no being the elite.
There wouldn't be.
True fact.
There wouldn't be. And
I mean, Hickett is more or less speaking the truth. If it weren't for Zack Ryder, we wouldn't have a lot of these companies like AEW and utilizing YouTube as a means of being able to sort of just bridge the gap between on-camera and live content and online content.
Yeah, but that ain't even what crawls me the most, if you want me to be honest. Because when I saw this yesterday, it really pissed me off. As Hakeem just mentioned, they're expected to turn profit, a huge-ass profit this upcoming week, during the figures thing, as you mentioned, isn't it? The thing was, I believe it was like a month ago. Well, if we just take it this past week, you had Linda McMahon give Trump, that stimulus package. Everyone saw that shit, I believe, over in the US.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Which was what, 20 mil?
Yeah, about like around 20 mil, yeah.
Yeah, and then I see all these people getting fired. Like, this is what Jason says this, and I agree with it. This is what hoarding talent gets you.
Look up this shit. What did Stephanie McMahon say earlier today about this shit?
Oh, fuck her.
Hold on, here. Let me pull out this tweet because this is like the first tweet I saw.
Jason, you state that from me. You state that.
Hold on.
It's all yours.
Here's the thing. Stephanie McMahon over here on Twitter 10 hours ago this morning tweeted, in what has already been a tough week for our WWE famer, Howard Finkel. Howard's voice is iconic and recognized by generations of fans. He will be missed. Hashtag RIP Howard. And recognized by generations of fans. He will be missed. Hashtag RIP Howard Finkel. Thank you for everything. Biggest eye roll that you could have ever possibly imagined. Here's the thing. Look, as we all just stated just now, we all love Howard Finkel, and we will make sure his memory stays alive for as long as we live. But let's not also ignore history. Let's not revive Howard Finkel for all the contributions that he did. At the same time, this company treated him like dog shit. This man was treated like the absolute bottom of the barrel. There have been stories around Howard Finkel where people said that he was bullied, the fact that he would be teased about going to the Hall of Fame. He was supposed to go in 2004, but they kept teasing him until they did it in 2009. The simple fact of the matter is they would threaten that they would fire him or release him, but then they would, in a weird, harsh joke, say, "Oh no, we were just kidding." They, like the stories you heard about JR and the like, it was worse for the likes of Howard Finkel. And this company, it is funny because I see the list here. I see a potential amount of people that could have been stars. That's what I don't get about this whole thing. I see the list and I see people that could have been stars from day one, and they had to fight against the grain in order to do so. People say like, oh, well, Daniel Bryan was a star. Oh, well, CM Punk was a star. They were all stars by accident. It's not like the company were really putting them on a pedestal case, and even probably in Daniel Bryan's case, they were trying to sustain them back to the bottom because they didn't want the likes of a Roman Reigns, or they didn't like the likes of Alberto Del Rio, or they didn't like the likes of Baron Corbin to be the ones that are lower than those guys. But they persevered, and they were connected to the crowd so much that the WWE could not ignore them. But every single time I see this list, I see Rusev. I see Rusev, a guy that has so much potential coming up on the main roster, and then they don't do anything with him until he had to fight against the grain with Happy Rusev Day, and then they did nothing with him as well. Back to the point where they had to embarrass him for an entire year, because this company's been trying to separate him and Lana anyways for years, okay? They let him go. Zack Ryder, as Jason just mentioned, this man was Mr. Social Media. He is the reason why wrestling was playing catch-up to social media when Twitter was just starting, Facebook was on the upside, Instagram just was born. Zack Ryder was the one pushing that company forward to a new internet informational age. And so they let him go because he's expendable. I see Leo Rush, a guy that was just the goddamn Cruiserweight champion a couple of months ago. And they say because he has a certain attitude about himself, or that he doesn't abide to the old school corny bullshit of doing tradition, that now he's a problem. So they let him go. Heath Slater, EC3, Drake Maverick, all these guys. Kurt Angle, a legend. They bring him back and they don't do shit with him, or at least put him to the pedestal of him being an actual legend with the company. His last match was a WrestleMania match with Baron Corbin and he lost. That should tell you all you need to know. So I don't want...
Don't make me.
I try not to. But the fact of the matter is that the profit margin line. And it's not even a guarantee that they meet those expectations come Wednesday. Okay? And the fact of the matter is, and the worst part about this is, we're probably not finished yet. I can guarantee there'll be a lot of NXT cuts coming in the next coming days. All those cuts that I just named were from the Raw side. Who knows from the SmackDown side who's getting cut as well? Who knows people backstage that are getting cut? Hell, the people that are like writers and other people that you don't hear about are definitely getting cut as well. So, when I hear all these people come to me and say, well, what did you expect Vince to do? Well, I expect Vince to be an actual responsible businessman, and one, stop running these shows live weekly. That would be a great start. And two, protect your WWE family that have provided you at least 300 days of their free time every year to provide you entertainment and to provide you money. How about you do that for them? Look, like I said earlier, it's one thing to cut these talent, cut them out when you have money in the bank, no pun intended. When you have money that is stashed, $500 million, $500 million stashed, and you're telling me that you couldn't keep at least... And let's finally put this nip in the bud here. Okay, Vince McMahon is the sole proprietor of all this, but he's not alone. Okay? All you people, for years, not even this recently, but for years, told me, well, once Vince is gone or once Vince dies, Triple H and Stephanie, they'll take control and they'll bring the company back to a greater pasture. Let me tell you something. At this rate, that's not going to happen. Stephanie McMahon, first of all, is running that company, not Triple H. She's running the business end of that company. Triple H, at best, is running the wrestling day-to-day operations. And who knows right now with the way NXT has been performing as of late? Who knows if he's running day-by-day operations? He might not even at the end of the day. But even then, Triple H is from the same Connecticut cloth from Vince. He's no different from Vince. He coerced NXT's brand, which was a visionary from Dusty Rhodes. Okay? He coerced NXT to make it this game of keep away, as Jason stated earlier, to all the independent and foreign talents all around the world to play keep away so people from other promotions don't get them. And now it's bite them in the ass because they now have to release them. W is a thing. You still got MLW, Impact, ROH. Big free agents, in my opinion, that gets swooped up. And we're going to go down the list and we'll all talk about who has what futures and where they're going to be at and all that. But I am sick and tired of bootlickers and drones out here that come over here and try to excuse this company for doing something that they know they didn't have to do. They didn't have to do this, but they chose to do it to calm down stockholders and their whole fears about the company at the moment, at the expense of their careers. That's why, and let me tell you something, and I want to talk to the WWE fans. I'm not talking to the drones. You guys at this point are like a lost cause. You guys are so far gone at this point, there's no point. I'm talking about the WWE fans that do recognize that this company does good and sometimes bad. If you watch WWE and are a fan of it, fine. I'm not telling you what to do one way or another. Okay? Understand who you're supporting with your money. This company does not give a shit about you. And I do mean that. This company does not talking, oh, well, I bet you're going to watch the shows. Bitch, I ain't watched the full Raw or SmackDown in years. I ain't supported no merchandise for years. I ain't had the WWE Network for years. Okay? I haven't gone to a WWE live show for years. So I'm not the guy. But then don't get upset when people like me call your bluff and tell you that this company is full of shit and that the day that it falters, I'll be sitting right here on my throne saying, I told you so. So there you go. If anyone else want to finish up on that point.
You mind if I go ahead and get out of the way first? Because there's a run her PR mouth all over this situation. You're only making yourself look stupider the more I hear you. And Seth Rollins can go ahead and piss off too, because some of those comments he was making is only just steeping the fires even more. Go ahead. Yeah, feel free. Make your comments, Seth. Keep saying we all need to support each other. We can support each other. We'll support the wrestlers, but we ain't supporting no bull crap like that. Get out of here. And Braun Strowman can eat a big one at this point. EC3 and Drake are gone, so he can definitely eat a big one. He's probably choking on those words right about now. The nerve of this company. I sat there and sat through their product for over 20 years, and I feel like I got nothing out of it. I haven't watched a full episode of Raw since 2012. The last one I remember I watched in full detail was when Brock Lesnar showed back up. That's the last Raw I remember ever viewing in full detail. Outside of that, I've been on and off with the product for a few years. Even with NXT, I'm not really that impressed. Never have been impressed. Anyone here can tell you. I've never cared too much for NXT, because to me it kind of comes off like a gigantic indie fed with more money. And look at that. My point gets proven. So you know what? The Fed can piss off. Hashtag FTE.
NXT was the petty thing. The fact you know with NXT they play keep away. Like you hear all this about them expanding NXT. You know how they've expanded it here in the UK. By the way, our indie scene since that expansion a couple of years ago has gone to shit.
Yeah.
Our independent wrestling scene went to shit. It died. It fucking died. Some of the cool companies became fucking WWE stan companies.
Call like you see it. They sold their souls. Well, they sold their.
Yeah, they sold
out. That's the nice way to put it. They bought the lip service from Paul from Hunter and basically gave away the company, saying if your company doesn't do well under our banner, we have the right to own and basically close down your promotion. because they were marks about it.
And of course, there's the sheeps that were trying to defend it. Pete Dunne, what?
Oh God! Don't
This
get me
is why,
started
in
on
all
Pete Dunne.
honesty,
Don't get me started on Pete Dunne. Go ahead.
This is
Go
the reason why I've stopped watching companies like Progress, because they've literally just become just a developmental brand for a developmental brand. Because a lot of the people that end up being in Progress just end up going to NXT or WWE anyway. Like, what is even the point of a lot of these companies even existing now or anything like that when they're all just going to be assimilated anyway? It's like what FDR did. WWE is essentially the FDR of the fucking wrestling world right now. They're taking in all of these companies and they're just amalgamating them into one enormous blob to the point where it's not even the fact. Yes.
They're going to try by NXT.
NXT Japan will.
Jason has used this about 1,000 times over. They are except GWM doesn't make the mistakes that WE does because they actually succeeded in their takeover. Clearly,
Amazing.
the Fed hasn't.
The independent companies from around the world, like Chloe, will appreciate this. Go and watch companies like Melbourne City Wrestling. Go watch the independent wrestling companies who aren't fucking sheeps to WWE, like Evolve, like Progress, who sold their fucking soul, like WXW from Germany.
And, those watching around the world. And it's like when you hear them get the call up to WWE, it's like, it's deflating. Because, look, they got Phantasma now over there. They got King Cuerno from Lucha Underground over there. And I like the dude. I like the guy. He's great, but... It's like how this thing goes with people like him. The simple fact of the matter is that he's not going to get far as much as they think they are. Because look, they've been looking for that next Mexican superstar since Rey Mysterio, and it's less successful than they think it is. And if you're not going to do anything with these talents, why keep them there? Because some of them still want to just wrestle. Some of them are there for the money, and I'm not even begrudging them for that, but some of them are there to wrestle too, and they want to be able to make something worthwhile for themselves. So just let them do that.
He's a locker room favorite, from what I can tell. He seems like one.
And from what I heard,
he pissed himself, like for real, on a pay-per-view once. Like he's clearly willing to do what the company asks him from him to do. So, I can Impact would be the safe choice, I guess. But who knows at this point? Who really knows? Kurt Hawkins. Kurt Hawkins, he has a school in the eastern part of the world, and here in the United States. So,
I've got my prediction for Hawkins.
Yeah.
This is going to surprise me. I've got my prediction for Hawkins.
Yeah.
This is going to surprise people. Hawkins he has connections there, and also they will. They'll also want. They want some people. Like how they signed Colt Cabana.
Like veterans,
they want. Yeah, like veterans, and you can't ask for someone better than someone who owns his own wrestling academy.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Just the connection.
Hawkins go.
So something tells me AEW is going to be looking for Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
I think they both go.
Oh yeah, I mean Zack Ryder. His T-shirt at Pro Wrestling Tees was the #1 seller today. So I mean that obviously tells you that he has a lot of loyal fans that will go with him wherever he goes. Obviously Zack and Cody are also friends off the screen too. So I do think Ryder will definitely find his way back in the national scene, and it's probably going to be AEW in that case. And honestly, he's 34 years old. Crazy thinking how long he's been in the WWE, but he's 34 years old. He still has a lot of years left in him.
He's my age.
I definitely can see Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. Now, it was referred to earlier, but Carl Anderson dropped a video earlier this morning, which is hinting that he might be going back to Japan, more specifically New Japan. Maybe a feud or alignment back with the Bullet Club, if possible. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say New Japan would be the destination. I could also see AEW as well, with that connection with the EVPs over there, and the fact that the techno and with the
I want to bring this up. Quick to interrupt you. I want to bring this up, ladies and gentlemen. Tag team wrestling. Once everything gets cleared up, tag team wrestling this year, once everything is cleaned up, outside of the Fed, is looking epic.
Oh yeah.
Like, so 5 of the top 10 tag teams in the world, you could say, are outside of the Fed.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with that.
Easily.
I would definitely agree with that. I think with AEW, because, you know, obviously the Revival are more than likely going to AEW once this whole thing clears out. So that means you would have the Club, you would have the Revival, you would have the Young Bucks, you would have the Lucha Bros, you would have Proud and Powerful, you would have SCU. Yeah, you can figure it out.
Hit the steroids, brother.
Yeah.
Like Billy Graham has been recommended for people.
Yeah, say Billy Graham that can't walk because he... But...
Mm.
I know. How does
His draws have more functional legs?
I wouldn't put it past him that he could probably improve his craft there. I think that'd be a good sign for him, honestly. Eric Young, probably Impact. Scott D'Amore's working there.
Impact also as an agent. I think he does a wrestler and agent
Here's the
role.
thing, because I still do watch Impact actually, but they need main eventers. I think the Tessa novelty run has ran its course. I think
It never should have happened to begin with.
I know, but look, after Tessa, you've got Eddie Edwards, Michael Elgin, and then Moose, and that's really your main event scene. So I think bringing someone in like Eric Young, who has been a former world champion there, who is a longtime TNA veteran anyways, I think bringing him in there not only just as a occasional main eventer, but like Hickett said, but as also a producer, an agent. You know, Scott D'Amore's already there, and they go back anyway. So I mean, I guess that would be 1-1. I know he's.
There's another name off the release list I think is a definite impact, and I don't think this will come to a surprise to anyone when I say this.
Well,
Lance Storm.
Lance Storm, you said?
Yeah, but
Right.
he closed it down. He closed it down to go to the Fed, and that's how they fucking treat him.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, I did not know that.
So, because I think that could work. And the last thing I'm going to say about the Tessa thing, to go briefly off topic, is I'm glad I can't spit on the microphone and yell out a sexist word just to piss on her.
That's a little harsh.
La Rosa Negra said it all.
Look, as a man who understands that race is a sensitive topic, and I'm just like, yeah, you can piss off.
Also, I believe we've been joined.
Oh boy, speaking of black people, welcome to
Cool.
You got me and Hakeem in here. I don't know about this.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
No,
Look, let's be real.
Watching that.
no comment. But wow.
Nah, I'm kidding.
I don't know
I'm kidding,
sometimes,
man.
Malik. I don't know, man. But
Well, here's the thing. At least you can't say, "Well, I forgot my medication" when you have those moments. But that's cool.
Christ.
God.
Hey, listen. The views of Malik Brown do not reflect this newscast or Hakeem Johnson. Thank you very much.
Back to the topic.
He's not wrong. He's speaking the truth.
You might as well put those gangsters.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
Come in.
Oh,
Because I go home.
the great Malik Brown, everybody.
Look, me and Malik could do that run. We'll piss all the white people off.
I know. All right, but back to the list here. EC3, also a guy that obviously one of the bigger names, I guess you would say, on this list.
Do we need to say Impact?
Either Impact or AEW.
I don't look. Okay, here's the thing. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, EC3 goes to AEW." Here's the thing. You already got MJF there, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think he's better at it. I think he's a better character than EC3 on that level. And if you did watch the clip yesterday, it seems that EC3 is getting away from that character. If you saw his,
Yeah,
I saw that. So
Might go to New Japan as well.
Full-fledged beard and a buzzed head.
So he's definitely not going to be Ethan Carter anytime soon. New Japan, I don't see that happening. I don't see him going to New Japan. No. But look, I think NWA, maybe an Impact return would be the best bet. Because listen, like EC3, he's 39. Like his body's not in tone as it once was. Like he might be calling it a career soon for himself. So. Why not try one more run?
Nope, it's everyone else.
He's 37.
38. So I mean, I don't know. I think again, like I said, Impact needs main eventers. Like I just stated, the Tessa experiment is starting to die down. You only got Eddie Edwards. You only got Moose. You got Michael Elgin. You need more main eventers on that scene. I think EC3 would fit in right there as soon as he came back. Although I think NWA would also be another fit as well for him to go someone like Nick Aldis or, James Storm, Eli Drake obviously over there as well. So I think one of those two would probably be your best fit. People are saying AEW. I don't know if I want to see it, to be quite all about the social media presence. He's somebody that you got Pac, you got Ray Phoenix, you've got Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, Lance Archer, Brody Lee. I think he would have a lot of bangers with those kind of guys. Now that he would be free, like Malik said, he would be free not just creatively, but also from an in-ring standpoint. He'd be really able to show a still national audience what he can really levels. So I think, yes.
Also, I'm sorry. Also, another thing, there's only one slight change to Leo now. He's more level-headed.
And, get people water and all that kind of stuff. Look, listen, at the end of the day, you're here to make, if this guy is going to make himself money by doing what he does, then why not sign him? Now, I know that we're in a weird period right now, so maybe we're not getting people signed immediately, but I can guarantee you in a couple of weeks, if not months, Leo Rush is one of those guys on the short list that gets signed. I am more than confident of that. Don't be that dude, man. Come on, man. Don't be that dude with Leo Rush in Private Party, bro. Rush gonna be the hype man for Private Party? Is that what you gonna do?
Right.
Oh, come on, bro.
I can see that, honestly.
Yeah, brothers.
Private Party being his own hype man.
Brothers gotta get paid, man. But, all right, well, next on the list, Kurt Angle. This, I will be honest with you, this was a shocker. I think that name was the reason why I was frustrated yesterday, because it just is a bona fide Hall of Famer, a bona fide legend, and he basically is looked upon as, we can just let him go, because let's be quite frankly, him returning back to WWE wasn't all that special. I'm just going to be quite honest with you. His last match, like I said earlier, his last match was at WrestleMania against Baron Corbin. That was his final WWE opponent, and he loses, too. It just... It's the way that they treated Kurt Angle in his final few weeks is absolutely abhorrent. But I think with Kurt Angle, I mean, obviously, in his in-ring work is done, but I think
it should have been Chad Gable.
Hey,
it should have been Cena.
Yeah, really? Cena. Should have been Cena.
Yeah, it should have been Cena.
They don't have enough investment in Chad Gable to convince me that they could have...
Nobody knows anything right now,
Yeah, but most people are probably getting cut after Smack.
They are.
Here's the thing. If Chad Gable does get cut, he's his manager.
Like they should have done from the beginning, right?
Yep. Yep.
You will say Chad Gable. I actually like to see Chad Gable in New Japan. I think he is a guy that would thrive in Japan if he really wanted it.
He really would, honestly.
I think a G1 run, I think a Carnival run, I think Chad Gable would pull it off. Really good.
Oh.
He's already got like all the attributes that
Japan
would love about him.
Yeah.
I'd salivate over a Gable and Ishii match for some
reason. Oh yes,
Shingo Gable, bro. That's gonna be the lit one, bro.
No, Hakeem just talked it. Shingo Gable will be fucking immense.
Man.
Also,
Nakajima too. Fuck it.
Yeah, show.
Gable could go into the junior division. That needs to be.
Yeah, he had that. He had that.
Gable versus
sell Gable. Yeah, but Ospreay would sell Gable's German like death.
I make no bones about it. I think Chad Gable would be more successful outside of that.
I think a lot of wrestlers in WWE would be a lot better off outside of WWE.
Yeah, agreed.
Also, I had to just point this out because I remember you were bringing up Angle and how it frustrated. 2010, WWE does not have a concept of a long-term plan.
I mean, it goes without saying, but
they've never had a long-term plan. Even
everything is instant gratification.
Right. Like Bray Wyatt's whole turn into the Fiend.
Yeah.
The only thing I can tell you is that was Bray's idea. WWE never touched it. They just let Bray have his way.
Yep.
Yeah, they just like, and they just let go his
And God, I
Wouldn't be
can't even talk
surprised
about
if
the
his-
theme right now.
Yeah,
Wouldn't be surprised if his brother got released.
I wouldn't be either.
Well,
Models.
independent companies right now.
Maybe
Like-
NWA.
I might.
I don't know.
Both.
Some of the talent know where their future stand, but Sarah Logan, probably should.
Considering
Yeah,
her
that's true.
husband's
That's
still
true.
there.
Though I'm predicting that the war machine.
I don't
is gonna
see
go.
it, dude. I don't.
I've got. No, I've got my surefire prediction on who's going on the side. And when that happens, there needs to be a nuclear
I think she's
ransom
got.
because they fucked that up
I
so
think,
bad.
I think she's got 1 foot out of the door. Anyways, I think if you, I posted a
Right.
clip on my Twitter, and it was her. It was the Kabuki Wars entrance at WrestleMania, and
Yeah, she
you
was
can
just
just
like,
tell like she didn't want to be there. You can tell like she was going through the emotions. Like you can tell, and then the way that she,
Dude, she recently got married.
well, yeah, like he's in Japan, and they're I'm sure. I mean, they're quarantined right now, so you can only imagine how she feels right now. And then she gets squashed by Nia Jax this past Monday, and if you know the way WWE books, if you know the whole philosophy of the WWE, you know that they're and the way with us, Asuka qualifying for the Money in the Bank and she didn't, you can kind of see where this is going. You can kind of see them probably splitting at this point. You can kind of see it.
With Asuka destroying, more than likely to build Asuka
And
back
yeah,
up.
and at this rate, well, what's the point of having women's tag titles?
Don't. We'll be here all night.
I have said this since the beginning of those belts were formed to begin with. I don't need to go on that rant again. I
Yeah.
really don't.
Speaking of tag,
Every possible team that could have.
finally, them getting released yesterday too. After it seemed like years that they've been in that company.
Yeah, I know.
I guess that Dark Side of the Ring episode, Bruiser Brody finally got them away.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Right? Because a lot of my friends are like, "How is Primo and Epico still in the company?" I'd be like,
I don't know
"Oh
why.
yeah, I could tell you why." Tito sent Jose Gonzalez to Vince McMahon's door and told him why you shouldn't.
Same rusty knife.
Also, think about the South American connections with the Worldwide Wrestling Council.
Well, they're trying to get the library.
Knowledge.
They're trying to get the tape library from Cologne, from Carlos. So that's why they kept them employed for that long. And I guess they haven't even gotten the library at this point. So, or did they already? I think they did. Didn't they? No.
No, they never got it. I've been checking the
Yeah.
network. They don't have WCC.
Yeah. So
Why would it's like this? If he's going to why would he do the same for Jose Gonzalez?
dude, we're on the week of the Jimmy Snuka documentary. It's like certain characters that are in that Hall of Fame or in that history of the company. It's like, why would you glorify it any further? So I mean, yeah, you would be right. You'd be right.
Yeah.
But Epico
That dark.
yeah, we'll get. I will get to that when we get there later. But Epico and Primo, I mean, obviously probably back in Puerto Rico. Probably do some independent shows here and there.
Yeah.
Not getting any books.
Yeah, probably not. Eric Rowan. Now, and again, another surprise here because he was. I guess he was last year. He was getting a bit of a push. I mean, he was tagging around with Daniel Bryan. They eventually became tag team champions. He was part of the whole Roman Reigns whodunit thing, which went nowhere. And then he teamed with Harper once again before Harper eventually left. He did his whole thing with the whole Tarantula, which again went nowhere. And then now he went released.
That was a stupid thing.
That was fucking. Thank you, feedback, for saying that. That was fucking
No
idiot.
shit.
I don't even think the tarantula was
wasn't.
real.
Here's the
Was
thing.
it?
If you listen back to Talkers Jericho when Brody Lee did the podcast, he even said, he's still talking to Roland, and he says there's some things that Roland's been telling him, but he doesn't want to say it, to get Roland in trouble. So I think Roland's probably one of those guys who's been wanting out for a while, anyways.
I don't blame him. I'm sorry, I don't.
I don't blame anyone with the
Because sorry, go ahead.
Here's the reality, though. AEW can't sign everybody. Like, everybody on this list can't be signed. Everyone has something that's going to contribute to the the company. If I think Cody or Tony see something in him that they can use him here and there, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to put him there. But like, shut up. Like, I know because there were certain references to Vince here and there, but ultimately that's not his whole character. His whole character is just being a psychotic cult leader. If you think it's Vince McMahon, well, I mean, that probably tells you what you think of Vince McMahon at that point. If you think that's what Brody Lee's, making a parry out of. But I just wanted to let that be known. But
it's like, my God, any worker that comes out and he vents his grievances.
Oh, you're bitter.
It's like, oh, you're bitter. Shut up. Everybody at some point had that one boss that you just did not like, and when you left, you had to air your grievances. It's like, I understand it. It's so two-faced, right? Because it's like you glorify CM Punk idolizes pipe bomb promo, but you get
especially when WWE like subtly will do the same thing. And in terms of the pettiness, I'm not saying that AEW has never been petty either. I'm just saying that it's been both companies going back and forth. It's not like a one-sided thing. Yeah. Like, people gotta get out of this whole bullshit about, oh, well, it's AEW. They're like TNA. Like, one day I'll get into the difference about why AEW isn't being TNA 2.0. Like, one day, because this is like, that's ridiculous in its own self. But I think
because it's like, oh, WWE's in being petty. Okay, then what do you call NXT being on Wednesday nights now?
With Rowan.
That was at the Hall of Fame, right?
When Billy
I was there.
When they made next year, even though they signed an extension until 2024. Like, shut up. But UA or Impact either, honestly. But if Brody does have pull like that, I think AEW would be a destination. Things about Mike and Maria that haven't been favorable these past few months. I have said that. I've stated the fact that Mike Kanellis would sign a 5-year deal with this company. And how this works. You got to think Ring of Honor. I would think. You got to think that.
The Kingdom Returns.
Which I'm not fun.
You know what? I'm going to say this forever.
I fucking hate it when contrarians try to say, oh, well, Matt Taven's one of the better heavyweights. No, he wasn't.
I still blame... I blame Sahaya for the old Matt Taven. I blame Sahaya for Matt Taven. No, I do. I fucking do.
I'm not going to blame him because ROH still pushed him the belt anyway. So it sounds like to me ROH's responsibilities ain't clear. So I ain't blaming Sahaya. I ain't putting that on him. That's the lazy excuse.
Dude.
Though also Joey Mercury, putting things in the light how, even ROH wasn't fully...
Yeah, it was a shit show.
Well, to be fair, and I do want to give credit where they do things good, but, ROH have been taking care of their talent during this whole crisis, paying them when they aren't working right now.
Thank you, Marty.
Marty is now, I guess, Booker, or at least one of the ones with power over there, but they are slowly starting to, I guess, gain people's trust back. It's going to be a while, though, because... going back to that whole G1 Supercard last year and the way that ended, I mean, the New Japan side was fine, but the way that Ring of Honor shat the bed that night, it really started the slow decline to where they are now. And, Matt Taven, on the night where you could have put it on Marty Scurll, on the night that AEW 2 months ago was announced as a thing, and if you wanted to keep those Bullet Club fans or AEW new fans to your product, you could have put it on Marty Scurll that night, and instead you put it on Matt Taven. So, and then you had PCO, then you had the Roosh thing, where he won it, then lost it to PCO, then won it back. So, and the whole Women of Honor thing, it was a mess down there. Bully Ray, all that stuff. So, I do think Mike and Maria Kanellis could be back in ROH. I could also see NWA with their connection with Billy Corgan. That's also a possibility as well. I could see them over there.
Impact.
I don't know because it's a different man. Mike or Maria would fit there. Although I will say,
I don't even remember what they did.
No. To be fair, I did enjoy the Miracle though. I thought he was. I thought Mike Kanellis was the best at his best with Impact as a Miracle. He came off as a star. He came off as a big deal. I think.
Good. Which is why I just wanted to throw that out.
But I definitely. I say one of those two destinations would be for them. Zack Ryder. Got us some AEW.
This is
got us some AEW. Cody has stated before that he wants Zack Ryder before anyone that would be out there. Zack Ryder, he had the number 1 most selling T-shirt today at Pro Wrestling Tees. He just changed his Twitter handle to his real name, Matt Cardona. Like I said, he's 34 years old. He still has a couple of years left in him. So if he wanted to go for a strong run, I think AEW, which has taken a lot of talent from different directions and rehabilitated them, I think they can do that with Zack Ryder, knowing his social media influence that he can bring to that company. Well, I mean, again, the NXT cuts are coming, so who knows if she stays, but I think he'll be fine. I think Cody is willing to give him a spot. Now granted, the Revival are coming. We know they're coming. Look,
it's kind of really
I know the gimmick kind of wore him down, but at least early on, I did see No Way Jose wrestle in NXT. If they can get out of that whole gimmick that they put him down on, I think you can find something with him. I'm not saying he's going to be world champion.
Maybe go or Mexico.
Yeah, CMLL, AAA.
Possible. Yeah,
that's the Crash.
Now we get onto the big. If we're going by this list, I know we're about to get onto a big.
Then the big one, yeah. I think the big one, but Rusev.
I have three picks.
Now look, let's not act like we didn't see this coming. This has been building for a while. Actually, Rusev has been kind of building this just as long as the Revival have actually. So, and obviously we knew how the whole thing with Lana and Lashley happened this past year. Lana just signed a 5-year extension deal, so she'll be in the WWE. But Rusev gone. Now, he's the guy where he holds all the chips. I think he's the guy out of everyone on this list that can go anywhere he wants, and he'll be fine. Even more than Gallows and Anderson. I think he's the guy that he can go to any promotion and he'll fit. So, I'll let you guys speculate, and then I'll tell you my final destination.
Who wants to go first?
I could honestly see him being one of those guys. I think we're going to see him in Japan. I think we could see him in Mexico. He might have a little stint in Impact, but it's really kind of hard because there's so much potential for him to be in so many places. Yeah, AEW is the prime one a lot of people go to, but I'm honestly thinking New Japan.
Knocking off Magnus for that belt, if they want to push him that hard. New Japan is second, and I want to see him in...
Question what Rusev wants to do, because this is the guy. This is the... Out of all the talent, we would say this is like when it comes to NBA and NFL, this is the marquee free agent.
And I think... Because it's funny, because my ultimate destination... I would have to say New Japan, or really Japan in general, because he can go to All Japan too if I would like. But I was out.
He could wrestle all the stuff. He could wrestle the King's Road style in All Japan
if he wanted to. But I think here's the thing though, because I was listening to the video podcast last night about this whole thing going down, and they did specify look, some people that have been in the WWE for so long, they may not have the drive once they're out. They might not have the hunger once they're out. They might not have that same motivation to succeed like they did in WWE that they would for somewhere else because they've been so used to the environment and the system in the WWE. Now, I'm not saying that Rusev is one of those people, but I'm saying it is a possibility. Because, look, let's be quite honest. There have been people that we've advocated for from the WWE that thought they could do big things outside of it, and they ultimately didn't. Damian Sandow, that's one that everyone thought he could do well, and he just kind of faltered. Jack Swagger in a sense, to be quite honest. Although the jury's still kind of out, but even him, up to him at the end of the day, if he wants to truly, grab that brass knuckles, or ceiling, if you will.
The thing about Rusev is, though, he's really popular. Can we all agree? Just with a casual wrestling fan, and this ain't WWE or any fan, just with a casual wrestling. This guy's legit from what you hear, when everyone talks about the wrestlers. This guy is one of the nicest guys in the business.
donate to some of the workers, or at least the backstage workers. Yeah,
he donated £20,000.
That's what he was planning to do for those that don't have the income from this whole thing right now. So Rusev is a great dude, from what all accounts that I've heard as well, and from what I see from him when he does interviews, like he seems like a chill dude. But it's the drive that will concern me, being an ex WWE talent. Should you go? That's why I didn't say I want him in AEW, because AEW is nice. It's the second national promotion behind WWE, but you don't want to come to a point where you're being stagnant. Better than you've ever been. I think that would be the route for him to go. And then after he's done with his Japan run, he can be your modern-day Dr. Death or Stan Hansen. After he's done there, he can just slide right back to the States and do some occasional work all around the nation. So,
can I just counter-argue on the drive point dead quick? And I really need to do this before we get onto maybe the next wrestler or the last wrestler. I need to say this. Do we all forget Rusev's background before what he did in WWE?
Oh, being a tough man?
Did Russian fucking Sambo,
Yeah.
MMA styles, in all of history, one of the most infamous mixed martial arts styles to master in MMA history.
So then we get to the last two ones here. Deonna Purrazzo and Alexander Jaksic. Now, with Alexander, I'm not too aware of who he is, really. I haven't really seen much of him. All I know that he has a really chiseled look from what I saw, so maybe he might do well, maybe as a excursion, maybe in Japan or in Mexico to get more seasoning. But Deonna Purrazzo, from when I was keeping track, one of the top female wrestlers in the world. I mean, well, I guess, yeah, that, and definitely one of the top female wrestlers in the United States. Just kind of being a journeywoman, really, wrestling in any promotion that wanted her for her time and energy. I think Deonna goes to women's division is improving. We know that during its initial stages it was bad. It was rough. But they're slowly improving, instilling certain familiar characters in there now too. And pieces of that puzzle. And what they really do need are TV-ready wrestlers, in my opinion. And if you get someone like Deonna, who is a technically sound wrestler, who can work around the TV, obviously, through her NXT tenure and her Mae Young Classic matches, I think that would be a very good addition to your women's division that is starting to slowly but surely grow.
Yeah.
I think she looks TNA, and I also believe she looks some Honor, isn't she still?
No, they're not. And I think her and Ring of Honor have some falling out too. So I don't know if her going. I mean, there's really no. No, couple months or so. I don't know, but I don't know. Well, they don't even have a Woman of Honor at the moment, so I mean, I don't know if that's the destination for her. I mean, yeah, Impact too, because the knockouts are still strong for what it's worth over there. So.
Women's world title.
Yeah, well.
So they're pretty much starting everything from scratch.
Who knows? But yeah, those are assume that some, if not most of them, will get rehired back to WWE. They're all they've been furloughed. They've been just kind of on hold for now until this whole thing's situated. But look, if I'm AEW, I'd get Dave Finlay and Lance Storm. Those would be the two guys. Those would be the two people I'd get to really help your women's division. Because, I mean, look, Dave Finlay, everyone knows me, successful, not just promoter, but he's also a successful trainer. Those would be the two, in my opinion, that I think AEW could scoop up. Or they probably just, I don't know, be travel men elsewhere. I don't know. Who knows?
Man, I do like Lance Storm. He gave up his school chef from the company because he got that stupid dancing gimmick. And Lord knows, that pissed away whatever.
And, didn't he win the television title at one point?
Nope, he never won a singles title, I don't believe, in ECW.
You sure?
Okay,
I'm certain.
All right, well, at least WCW US champion.
Yeah, but what did that mean in like 2000? So,
yeah.
It was the only highlight of WCW in 2000 was when Lance Storm won those belts.
Kind of talked about it a little earlier. But the state of Florida announcing that wrestling, not just WWE, but wrestling and sports in general, is...
Well done on the bribe fence.
Yeah. Now, I want to read this article here by CNET. I'll just go skim through it a little bit here. It said on Friday, the Wrestling Observer reported that WWE would be resuming live broadcasts of Raw and SmackDown TV shows from its Performance Center training facility in Orlando, Florida. President, the raised eyebrows, Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis, service. Last Thursday, the city's Director of Emergency Management added 3 types of businesses to the list of essentials. The last on the list, employees. Last Friday, Vince made a command decision, basically, to go live with SmackDown. And now they're Vegas, but it's going to be apparently held somewhere live. I am advocating the fact, I at least have been advocating for the fact for weeks now, that I don't think either company, really any company, until this whole thing is situated, should be running live shows. That's just my opinion. I think you're putting the talent, the boys and the girls, at risk. This whole situation is fluid. It's a day-by-day basis. Nobody knows what could possibly happen tomorrow or next week or next month. And 2, I know that there are contracts with the television networks to provide live content. Fine. Then go ahead and do like a live segment to introduce like classic tape content or something and theme that as live programming. I don't know. But what I do know is that when you're exposing these boys and girls to this virus that is airborne, and you're making them, even though practice social distancing, they're still got to wrestle. So you're risking a lot doing this, because it's only going to take one person that is positive from doing all this live wrestling to ruin it for everybody. Once that happens, it's going to be a shit show if it isn't already. So now, look, the speculation about this whole thing is that allegedly, because Linda McMahon was a part of President Trump's cabinet for small businesses, and also runs a Trump super PAC. And apparently, I think the WWE or Vince McMahon donated about $18.2 million to that super PAC in the state of Florida. And then the following day, Florida gives WWE the okay to become an essential business. Now, I am somewhat of a conspiracy theorist to a degree, but sounds like to me some payola was going down. That sounds like their task force as well. So it just stinks of a different kind of politics that is going on that are keeping WWE right now not shutting down production for this whole thing. But I think there's a lot of collusion going on, and I don't know. Yeah.
Question though. When Vince McMahon went into that office, was he carrying a briefcase with him?
I'd have been carrying 2 of those sets, Yeah.
Jamal got that.
He must be still hiding that Jimmy Snuka murder.
Yeah, man.
And Trump knows about it too.
Hey, man, no see no evil, bro. That wasn't just a WWE Studios movie,
That was lovely.
Hey, man, look. It's been a bad week for the WWE. It's been a bad week for Vince McMahon. Look what's happening for this whole week. You've got the XFL declaring bankruptcy to where they're now selling the assets of the whole league. You've got the Jimmy Snuka documentary that came out that a lot of people are starting to dig back into that past. You've got the fact that now people are looking to the WWE with a microscope thinking, why are they still running business as essential when there are hotels, bars, gyms, yada yada, all closed. You've got these WWE talent cuts and releases that are going to continue to grow throughout the entire week probably. If you're Vince McMahon, and I'm being rhetorical maybe a little bit here, but if you're Vince McMahon, why do you keep putting yourself in a situation that's only going to transpire more negative press for you?
You know what would be hilarious? If Tony Khan bought the XFL.
I would laugh. Listen, all I'm going to say is this, and I mean this truthfully. It doesn't help when Vince is thinking, but I know we're about to get onto a certain... listen, I've got to go in a few minutes, but I do want to get onto a certain person who I think Jamal and Jason know who I want to rivet.
Oh yeah, I mean, I kind of just finished that off, but yeah, let's get to it. So, our Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins, putting his foot in his mouth once again. It's into some... Seth Rollins. Look, last year, Seth Rollins became champion, and he basically was the de facto locker room leader. Get all that. You gotta defend your company. You gotta play some corporate politics here and there. That's fine. I never even begrudged him for doing that in a sense. But there's a difference between being a company guy and being basically a naive bootlicker. And Seth Rollins, at least to me as of late, has shown to be the latter than the former. The whole thing with Will Ospreay last year, degrading him for having less money than him or working less dates for him. The whole thing with Jon Moxley saying that he took his ball and went home even though he fucking served his time in his contract to leave. And then the whole thing with Seth Rollins saying that people that are hating on Becky's character are jealous because I'm with her. All that dumb shit. And I had to hear people tell me, oh, well, he's just a heel. Well, he's just a heel. He's just working you guys. Why are you guys being such marks? Well, then here he is right now telling you basically that, why are you hating? Why are you blaming Vince and WWE? They're just doing the best thing for business. They're just trying to do the right thing for the company. It's easy for Seth Rollins to say that when he's got a top spot. He never has to be sacrificed. He never has to be released anytime soon. He's got his spot. He never has to worry about that. Unlike the people that have been released that were expendable in the company's eyes. So when Seth Rollins comes out here and tries to be passive-aggressive, and you have these drones and his stands coming out here saying, well, all Seth said was positive words, when if you read between the lines, he wasn't being genuine. He was being passive-aggressive, because that's what Seth Rollins does. And I know people hate on John Cena and Roman Reigns for certain reasons that are still baffling to me at this point, but at least with them, they would conduct themselves in a professional setting. I could never imagine John Cena being this gotten to where he has to respond to people and vanity search them on Twitter just to talk shit. And even Roman Reigns to a degree, both of those two got way worse. They got way worse fan reaction than Seth Rollins, and they were able to handle it to the best of their knowledge. Here's Seth Rollins, a guy that gets one thing said about him in a certain criticized light, and he can't handle it. Now he's got to call people out for being marks. He's got to call out people for being fair weather fans, that they'll turn on you. And they're going to use the excuse that, oh, well, he's a heel. Well, look, Seth, here's the thing. A lot of people are telling you, well, look, you're one of the top guys of the company. Why don't you start a union? If you're talking about unifying with your WWE family, which I swear to God, if I see another WWE talent tweet those words, WWE family, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind. Because it's such a fucking dumbass branding disservice to people that are saying, like, why don't you just call them your friends? Huh? Why don't you just call them, like, your friends or your people you love? Why you gotta call them my WWE family? It comes off like you're branding the company and try to play damage control. Like, shut the fuck up. So then you have... It's a cult. That's what it is. It's Stanford Syndrome. I said this last week on the newscast. I'm being validated again this week. It's Stanford Syndrome with the people that work in this company and people that don't even work in the company but are doing it for free, which are the fans, or at least not even fans, but drones that will just completely buy everything this company and the people that work there at face value. It's fucking frustrating. And yet, one thing that AEW could do wrong, or one thing New Japan does wrong, or one thing Impact does wrong, and it's like, oh, well, they did this, but you guys get shit for WWE. Well, here's the thing, Drone. The fact of the matter is, WWE no longer has the benefit of the doubt with people like myself. Because I used to be one of those guys that did defend the company, even when it was dog shit, until I said, you know what? No, enough. This is just ridiculous. This is mediocre. And I'm
gonna go in a sec after I've ranted on
I
this.
know a WE drone, but that's all I'm gonna say. I ain't gonna call him out, but you know, that might be a little dig on my end, but you know, whatever. Look, Seth, I'm gonna say this as kindly as I can put it.
This guy is so fucking petty that, listen, many wrestling fans will have heard of this website, at least over social media, Voices of Wrestling. They do numerous podcasts. This petty ass piece of shit, him out over it. Was where he said all this shit?
Yes. And then he proceeded to get body checked by Voices of Wrestling again.
Later, hey kid. Later, hit. Yes. Yeah. You know, and it's the sad thing about it is that, look, I mean, you know, to be objective here, like, Seth Rollins is talented. I don't think he's like one of the greatest out there. I think people overrate him in that regard, but I think he's a good to almost great performer in his own right. He's talented. He's very athletic. You know, he's one of the long running guys of the company in modern years that have stayed at the top. I don't personally think he's a main eventer of that caliber. I don't think he should be the top guy personally, but he has been that for a couple of years, so he's a recognizable face with a lot of people. And it's just like, there are ways to handle this. And the way that Seth Rollins continues to show his card every single time to let people get into his head rent free, and the fact that he continues to respond in the way he does, even if he meant good. Like, there are ways that he says it that makes it come off disingenuous and makes it come off as phony. And I think with someone like Seth Rollins, I think the HBK comparison in that aspect is pretty much correct, because, but the thing about it is that the thing about it is that I don't think Seth even survives in that environment back in the 90s, because it's like, it's very cutthroat. It was very cutthroat. It was very me, and it's like, you know, Seth Rollins is a guy that wouldn't be probably last for a month there. I think Seth Rollins is a guy that he needs to. I think, and I'm just gonna say it like Punk said, I think you need to stop tweeting. I think you need to just kind of give yourself a break once in a while. I think you just need to log off and not worry about that, because the more you worry about it, the more you reveal yourself every single time you respond to these type of situations. Because look, all VOW were saying was that you come off as somebody that's trying to bootleg for the company's best interest, but not for the people that were just let go because that they were more expendable than the profit margin. And you're just coming off as somebody that's like, well, you know, they got released, but shit happens. It is what it is. And it's like, I don't blame them for being upset, or maybe fans being upset that you just come off as somebody that is a dick. It's not being different. It's not being a rebel. It's not being a contrarian. It's not you being the sake of being new or anything. It's just you coming off as a dick. And I don't know. I just think Seth Rollins needs to look at himself sometimes and just think, do I really want to send this tweet? Should I press the send button and do something stupid again to get myself attention? Or should I say, you know what? Not this time. Maybe I should just not care what people say. I mean, it's only a novel concept, you know? Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. I think he's I think he's just an idiot. I think he's just someone that's so far gone. He really does believe the WWE hype that everything is good and that they are the best at what they do, which in certain cases that they are, but in certain cases they are not. And that's just a fact of the matter. It's a whole different wrestling world compared to when they were on top. And they are still on top, but the gap is starting to close a bit in certain aspects, is my point. And I don't know. Rollins, shut the fuck up sometimes. It's basically my TLDR here. Just shut the fuck up sometimes. You know? That Stanford syndrome's like a drug, man. I mean, fucking dealing with all these idiots online, man. These motherfuckers, dude. They are so fucking gone, dude. It's sad, and I have to address it. Like, I have to always, differentiate. There's a difference between drones and fans. I never ever come at the WWE fans when I do these kind of things, because I understand that WWE is their preferred wrestling or type of wrestling, but they also will acknowledge that there are things that aren't always right with the company and that there are certain things that are wrong with it. I never come at them for that, but it's these drones that will suck this company's dick and will just praise them no matter what, even if they're in the wrong, even if they are clearly on the wrong side of history, even if they will do everything in their power to try to put down us, people like us. They insult our intelligence. They don't care about. We're punished for expecting a reward for being so loyal. That's the problem. I'm never anti-WWE. I'm just anti-stupidity. Just like I'm not pro AEW or pro Impact. I'm just pro common sense. Do the math. You know? So I know. Novel concept. I know. It's weird, right? You provide me with a service, I give you money. Isn't that crazy? Wow. But that's about to be Uncle Paul in a second, apparently. But speaking of Uncle Paul, man, AEW and NXT last night. Apparently, AEW won the viewership ratings today by about 10,000 viewers. But AEW won the demo. I kind of tweeted this earlier today. Right, honestly, with the current climate with wrestling right now, it doesn't really matter. Right now, I think ratings are the last thing that matters, unless you're like trolling or trying to entertain yourself. It really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things right now. It's not just because AEW lost 2 weeks in a row. I've been kind of feeling this way for a while since this whole coronavirus has been happening. It's just the empty arena wrestling was interesting for a little while. It's starting now to show its negativity to me. Like, I don't have an incentive to watch these empty arena shows right now. It's too grim. That's really what it comes down to. It's too. I just don't care. That's what it's. That's, for a better way to put it. It's too depressing. It doesn't really escape you from what's going on right now. Everyone's watching the news right now, and I can't blame them. Well, in a way, I can with our media, but in a sense, I can't blame them in the sense that they want to know the information about this whole situation. The last thing that they're caring about is some sort of ratings war with wrestling of 2 shows under 1 million. So I don't know. It's just I think a lot of people need to reevaluate what the priorities are right now, because quite frankly, there have been predictions that we may not get a wrestling live show until 2021, and that's at the summer of 2021. That's a long time, even in the summer right now. So who knows when we're going to really get back to quote-unquote normal. This could be a while. I mean, if people can be smart enough to stay home or keep distance from each other, it's going to stay with us for a while. So yeah. I don't know. It's just like it's hard for people to break a habit because, like, when I tell people I stopped consistently and fully watching and supporting the company since I believe 2014. That was around when Punk left. Daniel Bryan had his short run with the title. The Shield broke up for no fucking reason. I think that was when I was like, okay, this is I don't like where this is going. I'm just gonna not be a part of this anymore. And it's gotten worse since that whole year. So, it's hard for a lot of people to break that habit. It's like they have to watch WWE. They feel like WWE is the only wrestling in the world. They feel like WWE is all that matters, and it's just not the truth. It's not the case anymore. And when people like Leo Rush say, like, because I heard he wants to go into music more so than wrestling now, but I think with Leo Rush, I think he's somebody that he didn't want to follow the old school traditions of wrestling. He didn't want to have to tie people's boots. He didn't want to have to buy people lunch in hotel rooms. He didn't want to have to carry water for the veterans. He just wanted to wrestle and get paid. And that's just the kind of stupid, corny shit that until that gets stopped, pro wrestling is going to continue to be. And I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you guys either on here or on the chat saw it. I know I made a tweet earlier this week saying, like, if you think wrestling is ever going to change, like if you think pro wrestling is ever going to change for the better, you are sorely mistaken. Pro wrestling, by its nature, by its inception, is a dirty, scummy business, and it's true back then. It's true now. It's probably going to forever be true going forward. It's just the way you play the game that's different. And the fact of the matter is that you can't change this business from that, because otherwise it would have happened by now. You would have had a union by now. You would have had health care insurance for everybody that works for a national promotion. But we don't. The reality is that people are there for themselves and only for themselves. And that's not necessarily wrong, but to think that we're woke, that's it. That's it. And we need to stop pretending that it's going to change, or it's going to get progressive, or it's going to get quote-unquote inclusive. It's just not. And even the people that you think that are fighting for those fights or fighting those battles, they're not that too. The ones that bark the loudest tend to be the scummy ones. So keep that in mind. As someone that, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Mm. And it's those kind of people that are going to continue gatekeeping that tradition that are ultimately going to continue that business. As someone that has, well, cat's out of the bag, but somebody that has done wrestling training myself, I can tell you that is still rampant. There's a lot of politics that happens when it comes to California wrestling that is stupid and sucks, but it is what it is. But you hear those stories and you see it you see it with your own eyes, and it's just, damn, this business just sucks. The only reason that, yeah, like it's like you're only in this business because there's plausible money for you. Otherwise, you would never do this. You would never try to travel all over the world, but pay your own hotel, pay your own rent, pay your own travel, pay your own health care. Like, you wouldn't really, without any representation from an agent or what have you, you wouldn't do this kind of thing if there wasn't any big money probably for you. So you just do it. But at some point, the bubble's going to burst, and I think you're kind of getting to that direction right now. I think yesterday with Black Wednesday, you're going to see a lot more of these issues pile up until the Jenga block continues to fall. I'm not saying that WWE is going to die anytime soon, or that AEW is going to overtake them or anything. All I'm saying is that the cracks are beginning to open further. And if you don't start patching them, they're going to leak to where you can no longer patch them. That's what I'm saying. Like, the iceberg is starting to appear in front of the Titanic, and if the Titanic doesn't move, you're gonna hit that iceberg. That's basically where we're at right now. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, man, it's crazy where we live in a wrestling world where I am sounding more like David Starr in certain ways than I ever want to ever sound like, but that's how bad it's gotten when I see bootlickers like Seth like have lack of compassion, genuine compassion, that I have to say, like, you're not going to start a union. And look, let's be fair. A union's never going to happen, at least not in my lifetime. A union's never going to happen in pro wrestling. It just isn't going to happen. But, I mean, you can at least make the efforts to at least say, look, if people are getting released but you could save them, or if we're being at risk for this disease, I'm not fucking wrestling. And you can get, like, what, 10, 20 people say, fuck it, we're not wrestling. Fire all of us if you want to, but we're not going to wrestle. Because you're going to have to just get more people then. But we're not going to wrestle under our rights. So, you know, I think the problem is, and I said this also on Twitter, that a lot of these wrestlers are scared. A lot of these wrestlers have no backbone. They have no conviction when they say certain things. They say that they're mad. They say that they're angry. They say that they're upset. But at the end of the day, when shit comes to get, when they can confront the man himself, they're going to do what they're told, and they're going to be obedient about it. And look, if you want to make your money, that's fine. But then shut the fuck up if you're going to just continue to wrestle under these circumstances, but then get angry and think you're going to say something where you're not going to do shit. Shut the fuck up. I don't care. I have no sympathy. So, there's what... And that's what it is. Yeah. Hopping onto the chat here. We should do this more often too. We should get the group of the people here and just talk and shoot the shit about the topics that are happening that week. But thank you guys, I appreciate it. Thank you for those that were here and were hopping up in here. So, all right. So there you go. That was an interesting newscast. Sorry about the whole technical difficulties earlier there, but it is what it is. I'll try to be better at it and prepare more often. But that'll do it for the newscast here tonight. 2 hours and 50 minutes. Pretty good, pretty fine. This newscast will not be on the ACW channel here. It will be uploaded onto the official newscast YouTube channel that I just recently created. I'll post the link sometime later in the week, but that'll do it. We will hopefully be back soon for another newscast, episode 102, but knowing how crazy this whole thing's been going on with professional wrestling, I assume that I'm probably going to do more newscasts down the road sooner than later. Don't forget, for ACW fans, next week, Excel and Impulse are back. ACW Excel will be on Monday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. ACW Impulse will be on Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to be back with HCW content. It's the least I can do because I know it's a tough time right now for all of you guys. So you guys are looking for content from wherever you can get it. But that's what we're going to be doing. So Excel and Impulse will be back next week. You'll hear more about it as the days get closer. And I will tell you this right now, there will be certain delays. That's why I'm going to do my best to try to not promise certain things ahead of time. I'll let you know when things are done here and there, but we'll get to it when we get to it. So, but anyways, thank you guys for another newscast episode. I will see you guys later. And until then, stay cool. Stay cool. Later.